สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be a moderator of this webinar, which we have the good collaborations among the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations FAO, Federation of the Asian Veterinary Association FAVA, Department of Livestock Development, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Thailand, the Thai Veterinary Medical Association under Royal Patronage (TVMA) and VNU Exhibitions Asia Pacific to organize an activity for the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020 campaign during 18 to 24 November 2020. In Thailand, there are many activities that have been done for the campaign last week. For example, Thailand's World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020 on the 16th November, World Antibiotic Awareness Week in the Faculty of Veterinary Science, Chulalongkorn University during 16 to 18 November. And our neighbors countries also organize many activities, and it will be shared on our today's program. The World Antimicrobial Awareness 2000 Week 2020 aims to increase awareness of the global antimicrobial resistance and to encourage best practice among the general public, health workers, and policymakers to avoid the further emergence and spread of the drug-resistant infection. This webinar is the special conference to celebrating the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020. First of all, allow me to welcome Dr. Kwasa Nisam Madin bin Hassan Nisam, the president of FAWA, to give the welcome speech. Please welcome Dr. Kwasa.
Hello everyone. Greetings to all professionals in the veterinary fraternity as well as farmers and industry players in the livestock sector. I am indeed privileged and thank the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity to speak to you in this important event. FAWA, or the Federation of Asian Veterinary Association, is a 25-member association comprising of 21 member countries in the Asia-Oceania region, with 3 associate and 1 affiliate member. The outreach is more than 100,000 veterinarians. FAWA plays an important role in working with national veterinary associations to carry out various programs, projects, and activities to benefit member associations. This is one such project where we at FAWA are collaborating with FAO to carry out 2 activities in conjunction with World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. One is on poultry housing design campaign for small to medium-sized farms, and the other is to conduct webinars in 5 member countries in their local languages. FAWA would like to thank FAO for supporting with the necessary funds to undertake these activities. This year's theme, Antimicrobials Handled with Care, is indeed timely and apt. WHO, OIE, FAO also decided that from now on antimicrobials is not limited to antibiotics but also encompasses antiviral, antifungal, and antiprotozoal. It has been reported that if we fail to take the necessary action, 10 million people are projected to die in 2050 from antimicrobial resistance. It will cause a cumulative loss of $100 trillion to the global economy. The intensification of livestock industry has resulted in the increased use of antimicrobials as growth promoters and for preventive measures. This has resulted in the reporting of antimicrobial residues and resistance. Farm workers can be exposed to resistant bacteria as well as people handling meat or consuming them, or even from the contamination of water. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may have already read, gene-conveying colistin resistance was already found. Hence, we need to protect the critically important antimicrobials used for humans to be phased out from use in livestock. More importantly, we need to be more vigilant in using antimicrobials responsibly and prudently. We need to improve biosecurity at farm levels to prevent and minimize the introduction of pathogens into the farms. We need to explore the use of alternative products to replace antimicrobials such as vaccines, prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can raise awareness and map out and put in place all the mentioned good practices, then we have a good chance for reducing future AMR issues. It is in our hands to work together with all stakeholders and save us and the planet from the negative consequences of antimicrobial resistance. I urge all members to ponder and take the necessary and appropriate action for the future of the world. Thank you to FAO, Fava, and the National Veterinary Association for your hard work in organizing this webinar. I wish you all a successful webinar, and together we will try and make a difference. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwasa, for the warm opening speech. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Somchuan Ratana Mangkalanon, Deputy Director General of the Department of Livestock Development, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Thailand. And he also the Thai Veterinary Medical Association under Royal Patronage President to deliver the welcome speech. Welcome, Dr. Somchuan. Dr. Somchuan will speak in Thai and we will have subtitle in English. Thank you very much.
เรียนท่านประธานองค์การสมาพันธ์สมาคมสัตวแพทย์แห่งเอเชียท่านผู้แทนองค์การอาหารและเกษตรแห่งสหประชาชาติสำนักงานประจำภูมิภาคเอเชียและแปซิฟิกและท่านผู้มีเกียรติที่เข้าร่วมสัมมนาทุกท่านผมนายสัตวแพทย์สมชวนรัตนมังคลานนท์ในฐานะรองอธิบดีกรมปศุสัตว์และนายกสัตวแพทย์สมาคมแห่งประเทศไทยในพระบรมราชูปถัมภ์รู้สึกเป็นเกียรติและมีความยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งที่กรมปศุสัตว์และสัตวแพทย์สมาคมแห่งประเทศไทยในพระบรมราชูปถัมภ์ได้มีโอกาสเป็นส่วนหนึ่งในกิจกรรมการรณรงค์สัปดาห์การสร้างความตระหนักรู้จากภัยเชื้อดื้อยาต้านจุลชีพประจำปี 2563 หรือ World Antimicrobial Awareness Week โดยร่วมเป็นเจ้าภาพในการจัดงานสัมมนาออนไลน์ในครั้งนี้ร่วมกับองค์การสมาพันธ์สมาคมสัตวแพทย์แห่งเอเชียและองค์การอาหารและเกษตรแห่งสหประชาชาติสำนักงานประจำภูมิภาคเอเชียและแปซิฟิกภายใต้แนวความคิดการสร้างความมั่นคงทางชีวภาพสู่การป้องกันและส่งเสริมชีวิตความเป็นอยู่ที่ดีขึ้นซึ่งตามที่เราได้ตระหนักกันในปัจจุบันว่ามหันตภัยจากเชื้อดื้อยาต้านจุลชีพนั้นถือเป็นภัยคุกคามความปลอดภัยทางสุขภาพของมนุษย์สัตว์และสิ่งแวดล้อมซึ่งนับเป็นวาระระดับโลกที่ต้องอาศัยความร่วมมือจากทุกภาคส่วนทุกวิชาชีพไม่ว่าจะเป็นบุคลากรทางด้านสุขภาพสิ่งแวดล้อมผู้บริหารและประชาชนทั่วไปภายใต้แนวความคิดสุขภาพหนึ่งเดียวหรือ One Health ในการที่จะสร้างความตระหนักและความรับผิดชอบร่วมกันในการป้องกันและยับยั้งไม่ให้มหันตภัยนี้ลุกลามเกินกว่าที่เราจะควบคุมได้กรมปศุสัตว์และสัตวแพทย์สมาคมแห่งประเทศไทยในพระบรมราชูปถัมภ์ในฐานะองค์กรวิชาชีพสัตวแพทย์ระดับประเทศและพันธมิตรหลักในการขับเคลื่อนการปศุสัตว์ไทยสู่ความมั่นคงมั่งคั่งและยั่งยืนในตลาดโลกได้ประกาศเจตนารมณ์ควบคุมการใช้ยาปฏิชีวนะในฟาร์มปศุสัตว์โดยตั้งเป้าการจัดการเชื้อดื้อยาต้านจุลชีพของประเทศไทยให้ลดปริมาณการใช้ยาปฏิชีวนะในสัตว์ลง30%ภายในปีพศ 2564 และมีภารกิจในการกำหนดทิศทางนโยบายควบคุมกำกับส่งเสริมวิจัยถ่ายทอดเทคโนโลยีพัฒนาเทคโนโลยีเกี่ยวกับการปศุสัตว์ให้สอดรับกับแผนยุทธศาสตร์การจัดการดื้อยาต้านจุลชีพของประเทศไทยอีกทั้งยังเผยแพร่ความรู้ทางวิชาการและส่งเสริมวิชาชีพให้มีการพัฒนาให้ทันสมัยรวมถึงการให้ความรู้คำแนะนำแก่บุคลากรทั่วไป ด้านการปศุสัตว์และการเลี้ยงสัตว์เพื่อความปลอดภัยต่อผู้บริโภคและสิ่งแวดล้อมและเป็นไปตามมาตรฐานสากลสำหรับการใช้ยาปฏิชีวนะในการเลี้ยงสัตว์นั้นๆดังนั้นการเป็นเจ้าภาพร่วมจัดงานในครั้งนี้ถือเป็นหนึ่งในภารกิจตามเจตนารมณ์ของการจัดการด้วยยาต้านจุลชีพของประเทศไทยโดยเน้นในเรื่องการสร้างความมั่นคงทางชีวภาพสู่การป้องกันและส่งเสริมชีวิตความเป็นอยู่ที่ดีขึ้นเพื่อสอดประสานให้กับนานาประเทศทั่วโลกในการสร้างความตระหนักในการป้องกันและยับยั้งมหันตภัยนี้กรมปศุสัตว์และสัตวแพทย์สมาคมแห่งประเทศไทยในพระบรมราชูปถัมภ์ขอร่วมเป็นกระบอกเสียงหลักในการรณรงค์สร้างความตระหนักยับยั้งมหันตภัยจากเชื้อด้วยยาและกระตุ้นความร่วมมือจากทุกภาคส่วนในการสร้างความเป็นน้ำหนึ่งใจเดียวกันเพื่อความปลอดภัยและความยั่งยืนของสุขภาพหนึ่งเดียวสุดท้ายนี้กับผมหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าการจัดงานสัมมนาออนไลน์ในครั้งนี้จะดำเนินไปด้วยความสำเร็จบรรลุตามวัตถุประสงค์โดยสร้างประโยชน์ในด้านความรู้ความตระหนักรู้ในเรื่องมหันตภัยจากเชื้อด้วยยาต่อทุกท่านทั้งในระดับประเทศและนานาชาติและสัปดาห์แห่งการสร้างความตระหนักรู้จากภัยเชื้อด้วยยาต้านจุลชีพประจำปี 2563 ประสบความสำเร็จตามที่ได้ตั้งเป้าหมายไว้ทุกประการขอขอบพระคุณครับ
Thank you very much, Dr. Somchuan Ratanamankalanun, the president of the Thai Veterinary Medical Association, for the welcoming speech. Next, actually, our webinar will be in bilingual English and Thai, and we will start from the next session. The attendee can select the interpretation channel on the below menu by click and select Thai. Today, we have an excellent interpreter with us, Professor Dr. Rungtip Chuanchun, Head of Department of Veterinary Public Health and Director of AMR Center, Faculty of Veterinary Science, Chulalongkorn University, Focal Point of Global Foodborne Infections Network, Southeast Asia and Western Pacific region, Focal Point of FAO AMR Reference Center, and Dr. Shanika Phungpian, Faculty of Veterinary Science, Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, Thailand. Both of them will be together with you in Thai. Yes, next, it's very important that we have, I would like to invite our main partner, that this partner also very important for us. Dr. Kachen Wong Chai. He is from Emergency Center for Transboundary Animal Diseases, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific, to deliver welcome speech. Please welcome Dr. Kachen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Acharya. And as you mentioned, I hope that all the buttons and functions on Zoom is working correctly now, leading up to also our very important webinar, which will then be run more effectively. First of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. And hello to Dr. Kwaza, of course. Dr. Kwaza, it's good to see you attending this opening. I actually owe you a visit to Malaysia since the last time we met back in July of last year. So I hope once the COVID-19 pandemic is over, I would have the opportunities to visit you in person once again, perhaps when ACT's office will be celebrating its inauguration. Dr. Somchuan Ratana Mangkalanon, it's unfortunate that Dr. Somchuan cannot be with us in person today. I actually meant to congratulate him in advance, although unofficial, of his recent promotion as the Inspector General of the Ministry of Agriculture, but it's probably not too late to do that now. Dr. Acharya, of course, it's always nice to see you. Dr. Acharya was once my teacher, so it's always good to, from time to time, getting reacquainted with your teacher again. And certainly, Pak Bambang Poncho Priyo Soryanto, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Pak Bambang. If not, then my apology. My FAO colleagues, speakers, my fellow veterinarians in the regions, and all participants, of course. welcome you all to the regional celebration of the World Antibiotic Awareness Week 2020, which is being organized jointly, as Dr. Acharya mentioned, by Fava, FAO, Department of Livestock Development, the Thai Veterinary Medical Association. I learned that leading up to this regional celebration, as Dr. Kwaza has mentioned earlier, there have already been a series of various national events. If I can count correctly, I believe that there have already been 5 national events being held by national veterinary associations in the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. And there will be another one to be organized in Malaysia tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Well, certainly this would not be possible at all without very good collaboration and coordination with National Veterinary Association in various countries in Asia by Fava, our main partners. And I wish to express my thanks to them now. The global theme for FAO for this year World Antibiotic Awareness Week is United to Strengthen Food System and Secure Livelihoods. In the Asia and the Pacific region, we are translating this in highlighting the significance of biosecurity and overall infection prevention and control in food and agriculture sectors, and how it contributes to our efforts on AMR and even beyond. The world is currently grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic at the moment, and apparently we are all sitting in separate places attending this event. Yet, why we are still pushing to have this celebration in virtual format? One may ask. But why do we observe World Antibiotic Awareness Week at the time of crisis such as this? To us, of course, AMR is still very important issues, and we cannot let our guards down for preparedness needs, such as for antimicrobial resistance, and we need to continue to be vigilant amidst other competing urgent priorities. Inadequate infection prevention measures and agriculture production practices are major drivers for the misuse and overuse of antimicrobials. Veterinarians certainly have important roles to play. We are the front line in the promotion and implementation of infection prevention and control in livestock sectors. We are the one prescribing antimicrobials for animal use. And we are also contributing to strengthening food systems and securing livelihoods. Not only AMR, many of these improved practices can also help to protect against potentially devastating losses from many other infectious diseases and make agriculture production more sustainable. FAO will continue supporting member countries in improving terrestrial and aquatic animal production to reduce the incidence of infections, thereby reducing dependence on antimicrobials through better health, hygiene, sanitation, and biosecurity practices. One veterinarian has the opportunity to contribute to so many different things. He or she can contributing to protecting animal, protecting public health, securing food for the growing population, addressing hunger and improving livelihoods, particularly the rural poor, and contributing to global health issues such as AMR. World Antibiotic Awareness Week is a time to acknowledge and be reminded that everyone has a significant contribution. There is potentially synergy when all these various contributions come together under one shared vision. I thank everyone for being here today, at least virtually, to show to us that you are sharing the same vision as us. I also would like to thank our resource partners to make this event happen. The United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, and also the government of the United Kingdom through the Fleming Fund projects for continuing to support AMR efforts in the region and globally, and for making this event happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kachen. And I hope that everything will go smoothly, especially for the aim of the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. Yes, and of course, this time, please be informed again that our webinar will be in bilingual English and Thai. So the attendee can select the interpretation channel on the below menu and click and select Thai. But for the main platform, we will do in English. Yes, thank you very much for all your kind contribution, your patience, and everything that is already start for the content and the essence of the webinar. Now it's time that everyone is waiting for, I think. Let me inform the program. We will have the panel discussion from FAO on the topic of AMI is here, is now. MR is here now. Unite to strengthening food safety and improve livelihoods. And followed by the presentation from Dr. Julapon Sina on the topic of race without antibiotic and farm biosecurity. Then the activities from Fava members. After that, there will be a presentation of the regional campaign to enhance farm biosecurity for small to medium scale poultry farms for the celebrating the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020. Then the highlight of the program, of course, the final round of the presentation of the candidate and the announcement of the winners is very nice and very so exciting, isn't it? So let's go together until the end of the webinar. For the question to our panelists, attendees can drop the question in the Q&A box and we will have panel discussion after each topic as the limit time. If we cannot answer all questions, don't worry. We will provide you the answer to your registered email address or you have anything to talk with us, just do it in the chat box. Now it's time for a very important session of this webinar. It's the FAO panel discussion. May I introduce Dr. Mary Joy Gordoncillo. She is an AMR Regional Project Coordinator, and Dr. Rodolphe Mader. He is a Regional Antimicrobial Usage Specialist, FAO Regional Office for Asia and Pacific, to run the session on AMR is here now. Unite to strengthen food safety and improve livelihoods. Please welcome Dr. Godoncillo and Dr. Mader.
Thank you, Dr. Echeria. Thank you, Fava. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mary Joy Gardancillo. I think just to jumpstart our conversations on biosecurity, what we have done is collate all some of the select initiatives, snippets of activities of the FAO Emergency Center for Transboundary Animal Diseases in the region, doing biosecurity activities for other related issues, but are very relevant to mitigating antimicrobial resistance. So for now, let's just have that brief overview, and may I request the VNU to play the video, please. Thank you.
And I feel we're very fortunate to be able to have a range of expertise in these areas, and working together with our counterparts in WHO and OIE, we're able to then work on these One Health solutions that benefit everyone.
Thank you very much. So that in a capsule are some of the snippets of what has been going on of the work of FAO ECTAD. We are very fortunate to have with us today some of the people behind the work that's being done in the region. So may I now request them to present themselves and describe briefly their relevant biosecurity activities in the region, in Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Indonesia. So please, let's start with Dr. Yuni-Oh.
Thank you very much, Joy. My name is Yuni. I'm responsible for African swine fever program for Asia and the Pacific region. Maybe many of you must be wondering why someone who works in ASF joined here today. However, AMR and ASF both share the same key control measures, which is biosecurity. So the video you just saw has animation with pigs in it. And through that video, we try to promote awareness on basic farm biosecurity. Be a champion farmer. Biosecurity is key to stop ASF. Good animal husbandry practice is the way to prevent and control of not only ASF, but also other diseases. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuni. May I now call Dr. Makarahap from FAO Cambodia.
Thank you very much, Joyce, and good afternoon and good morning, doctors and colleagues. And thanks for having me today in our great occasions, Antimicrobial Awareness Week this year. And my name is Makara. I'm a veterinarian and being employed by FAO Cambodia. I have worked as a field veterinarian for more than 10 years. And in Cambodia, since the first occurrence of a highly pathogenic avian influenza H5N1 from 2005, Cambodian veterinary authorities, in collaboration with partners including FAO, have been working together in developing critical biosecurity guidelines and material for different poultry productions, and especially the most vulnerable backyard system. And recent years, we are trying to promote biosecurity in live bird markets by considering market structure innovations to facilitate proper biosecurity measure applications. And in addition to the trainings for farmers, poultry sellers, middlemen, slaughtering stall operators, transporters, we have set up biosecurity improvement committees. With this, we include market managers beside others operators in live bird markets to monitor the implementations half-live markets. So I think this is a great opportunity. I can also share the experience from Cambodia, and I hope that I can also learn from the successful biosecurity approaches in other countries, and we can also adapt to our local context. Thank you.
Thank you, Makara. May I now call on from Indonesia, Dr. Gunawan Utomo.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, thank you, Joy. Thank you, everyone. My name is Gunawan from EPO Ektat Indonesia as a National Technical Advisor, uh, especially for value chain, AMR, and MU. So nice to meet you all in this virtual meeting. Yes, I think EPO more than 5 years working together with Ministry of Agriculture Indonesia is provided technical support to the farmer, especially how the farmer can get benefit about healthy poultry and also other improvement in the poultry. Especially, we introduce simple and inexpensive biosecurity. So we call it three-zone biosecurity. In this concept, we introduce to the farmer how they can implement biosecurity that cheaper and very easier to be implemented. And the impact is they can protect their farm from the disease come from the other farm. And we also emphasize to the farmer that biosecurity is not only spraying in the farm, because that's the habit that already have in our country. So we emphasize to them that biosecurity is how to protect farm from anything, from virus or from bacteria, through the human to everything. And it is about the commitment and discipline to be implemented. Then even though there is a lot of disinfectant, but there's no commitment and discipline to protect the farm still in the danger of the viral of the microorganism. Yeah, I think that's my quick remark, introduction for me. I hope this meeting will be succeed and then also give many value or benefit to all the audience in the world. Yes, I think that's my comment, Joy, and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gunawan. And so after Indonesia, let's proceed and move to Myanmar with Dr. David Hadrill. David, please.
Thank you. And let me first say it's a privilege to participate in this Fava event. I'm a veterinary consultant. I work currently with FAO, but over the past 40 years or so, I've worked mainly in lower and middle income countries for a number of organizations. My work in Asia includes pilot family poultry development in Bangladesh and work with HPAI or avian influenza prevention and control in Bhutan, Myanmar, Nepal, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Currently, I'm involved with antimicrobial resistance work in Myanmar, particularly in the poultry sector. And in all of these strands of the work, whether avian influenza, prevention or control, family poultry development, or AMR, on-farm biosecurity is a key component to making these events more sustainable. So I look forward to discussing these issues more with all of you during the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And of course, last but not the least, Dr. Pauwin Padungtod, who is from originally from Thailand, but he's from FAO Vietnam. Dr. Pauwin, please.
Hello, Joy, and greetings to all participants. Once again, I am also very happy to be joining this Fava webinar. In Vietnam, FAO ECTAT program has been working on poultry production chain biosecurity since 2012. This is after the response to HPI outbreaks. And we recognize that biosecurity in poultry production chain is an important component to minimize the risk of avian influenza. We developed biosecurity checklists for hatcheries and poultry farms, including for both duck and chickens, which is later endorsed by the Department of Livestock Production as an official checklist for assessing farm biosecurity. We train many biosecurity master trainers to provide trainings to the farmers, develop training materials, and develop more than 100 model farms and hatchery. This year, we expand our biosecurity works to pig farms as well, using similar approach. Overall, based on our experience, we have documented that improving farm biosecurity, animal husbandry, and also veterinary service can lead to higher revenue for the farms and reduction of antimicrobial usage, especially in poultry production. And I'm happy to sharing this experience with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the panelists. As you can see, this is a wealth and breadth of experience in the region, talking about not just biosecurity, but how it impacts antimicrobial use reduction in the farms. So for today, we have very limited time, but just to maximize, you can utilize the chat box. If you have questions to our panel members, Dr. Radolf Bader and our team will be monitoring the chat box. But maybe the first question that we would have, and probably the most obvious, for those who are working in the region, do you have any experience where biosecurity measures actually reduced antimicrobial use? Because some think this is anecdotal. I'd like to hear from Dr. Pawin or the others, what has been your experience so far in the work done in the countries? Has there been impact on antimicrobial use reduction for these biosecurity initiatives? The floor is yours, please. Maybe let's start with Dr. Pawin, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. As I mentioned earlier, in Vietnam, we have developed many models, poultry farms and hatcheries production. During the past few years, we have also conducted an economic analysis of the poultry model farms, and we have documented to show that the profit markup of the model farms was higher than that of the control farms in all types of chicken productions, including the broiler and layers. However, our study and our models farm are limited to small to medium-sized farm only. The model chicken breeder farms had a higher profits markup of up to like 61%, followed by chicken hatchery, which has a profit markup of 42%. In a model chicken broiler farm, the profit markup was 26% compared to the control farms. And we also have documented that the model farms use less antibiotic than control farms in both chicken broilers and layer production. Another intervention study on a small-scale chicken farms in Vietnamese Mekong Delta region conducted by Oxford University Clinical Research Unit during the past 3 years. It also showed that the antimicrobial usage in the farms with the veterinary advice on chicken health and husbandry, the antimicrobial usage was reduced by as much as 66% compared to the baseline, as well as the decrease of mortality and increase of body weight of chicken. Therefore, good biosecurity, good animal husbandry, and improved veterinary service have been shown to help reduce antimicrobial use and increasing revenue for the small farms.
Thank you, Dr. Pawin. I think a large part of the short video clip that we showed, you see 3-zone biosecurity, which I think is now an established strategy also in Indonesia. Maybe let's hear it from Dr. Gunawan regarding what this strategy is in Indonesia and how it has helped addressing antimicrobial use reduction as well.
Yeah, thank you, Joy. First of all, sorry for the voice in the background, but I would like to make it louder. Yeah, I think FAO Indonesia in collaboration with Ministry of Agriculture, starting 2000, about 14 We already work together in how to improve the poultry improvement plan in the layer farm. So in the Lampung and Central Java province, three-zone biosecurity, commitment of the worker to follow
I think we are having some connections problem with Dr. Gunawan, but anyway, we have actually compressed all activities and initiatives, including YouTube videos for these ones. So you will see them and you will receive the collated summary resources, including on three-zone biosecurity that Dr. Gunawan. Maybe when there's a chance, Dr. Gunawan, maybe the connection, I think, is currently an issue in with Dr. Gunawan. So maybe while waiting for his connection to stabilize, may I request Dr. Makara from Cambodia on the activities on biosecurity in Cambodia.
Thanks, Joy. And in addition to my colleague, Dr. Pavin from Vietnam, it was interesting. Also, I had a chance to be in the team of Veterans Authority to visit last year, and also made a quick assessment in two remote village as a part of a piloted small project that we call Healthy Village, Healthy Livestock, Better Life. And in this project has built teams at the village level, which normally comprise of a village animals worker, village health volunteer, and a village chief to lead the village member to implement village cleaning, hygiene, apply biosecurity at their individual farms and also for a village level as a whole. For example, like they start doing the monitoring animal collectors in and out and also set up a clear village boundaries. Uh, this village team, they monitor animal health and report unusual case of animal mortality and morbidity to district veterinarian and also to provincial veterinarians. The village and the worker in those village, I, I, what I capture informed that around 40% of their treatment services, normally they do it for pig and cattle in the village, were drops comparing to what they used to be before having the project Healthy Village, Healthy Livestock, Better Life. And they have more healthy chicken, pigs, cattle in the village for all consumption and sell to local market collectors. So village and soccer, they now actively become a farmer or start raising animals instead of doing the treatment because less animals to be sure because they are healthy. So they become a kind of a kind of a core person to share and advice to farmers in terms of using a good animal husbandry and also connecting uh, connecting the middleman or market to the producer in their village. This is one of the core thing that I can observe in our healthy village, healthy livestock, better life. But of course, it would be good to have a deep analysis of the impact of these piloted activities. And then we can also show the profitable for others participating villagers. This is what I can share from our for the moment, we can say that it's one of the good things that we can observe from this healthy village, healthy livestock fertilizer. Thanks, Joyce.
Thank you, Dr. Makara. So as you can see, the different countries, different strategies, but all seem to be showing to work. Dr. Pawin briefly introduced about their work on model farms in poultry and also improving access to chicken health and husbandry. So improving access to veterinary services. Gunawan shared briefly about the three-zone biosecurity strategy of Indonesia. And Makara, I think this is an interesting initiative on a community effort, how to jointly do biosecurity as a community through the Healthy Village, Healthy Livestock, Better Life. So these small initiatives are starting to prove that indeed, with better biosecurity, the need for antimicrobials are reduced and actually improves profitability for the farmers as well. So again, just to touch base, if you have any question, Dr. Rodolphe Mader with us here is monitoring the Q&A. So if you have questions to the panel members here, please do not hesitate to ask. Meanwhile, I think let me just proceed while there are no questions being received yet. I would just like to check for any other experiences because we have a rich experience here on the floor. In your years of working in the region, what were the most significant interventions that you have seen work in implementing biosecurity measures and good animal husbandry practices? There must be some tricks to the trade, perhaps. So maybe let me start with Dr. David from FAO ECTAD Myanmar. David?
Thank you, Joy. Yeah, I'd like to tell you about an initiative that was established in Myanmar with the poultry farmers in the egg production sector. And here, FAO brought together people from the farms and the main supermarket chain in Myanmar, City Mart Holdings. And we discussed the possibility with them of producing eggs without antibiotics and selling these to the consumer as a premium product with a higher price. And in order to reassure the consumer that the product really did contain eggs which were produced without antibiotics, we organized the farmers into a group to agree all the rules and regulations that they would follow. We got the farms certified through a certification body, the Myanmar Organic Agriculture Group. And one of the national laboratories, the Veterinary Assay Laboratory, established a program to test a random sample of eggs produced from these farms and screen them for antibiotic residues. And actually in the video, which Joy showed a few minutes ago, there was a picture of a box of eggs. These were in a supermarket in Yangon on the shelves, certified from these farms produced without antibiotics. It's a small start, but it shows that where farms make the effort to improve their biosecurity and side by side use antibiotics, only when essential for treatment and not put those products into the food chain for humans, that it can be a win-win both for the farmers and the consumer. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Indeed, interesting. Reason for driving biosecurity is economic incentives, clearly. So at this point, may I check with may I check with Pawing for some of the success stories, or also on biosecurity?
Right. Well, thanks again for the question. For FAO in Vietnam, our main task is actually to develop government capacity to improve biosecurity. And one thing that has been working well for us is the development of the model farms, so that the government officers can use it as a model for other farms to replicate. And in order to develop a successful model farm, one of the critical factors is the resource person that we have. We need an experienced resource people who knows what works and what does not work in actual farm setting, because each model farm differ. We develop training materials, including Q&A question and answer handbook, using actual farm case, based on experience of our trainers. Our master trainers that develop these model farms not only receive classroom training on biosecurity, but also conduct farm assessment, develop and implement biosecurity improvement plan together with senior mentors, and continue to support farmers throughout the improvement plan implementation. I think it is the trust and the long-term relationship between the trainers and the model farmers that build confidence for farmers to follow. And in order to expand the model, I think it's important that farmers trust farmers. So once the model farms gain experience, then other farmers would follow.
Thank you very much, Pauline. I think we had a little difficulty hearing him earlier, but I think what Gunawan was talking about earlier is also very relevant to this question on significant interventions. Gunawan, would you like to have a go again at this for this question? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you. First of all, I would like to apologize that due to the internet not bad here, so my speed is cutting down. So I just want to continue what I want to say that we implement the farmer biosecurity zone, emphasize on the dividing the farm into the three zones. The first is zone outer of the farm, we call red zone, and then the intermediate zone we call green zone, yellow zone, and then we for the chicken coop zone we call the green zone. So in the three zone we identify the disease risk factor that in the farm. From the disease for the disease factor that we identified, we in the commitment and discipline to control the traffic, both human, vehicles, tools, and everything that come in out of the farm. That and then we also emphasize about the cleaning and disinfection for drinking and feed for the chicken. And the last, we try to emphasize to the farmer that for proper disposal of waste from farm will be one key to prevent the disease come to the farm. So all of the concept that tourism biosecurity what we already introduced to the farmer, we monitor and then we give the technical assistance during the implementation, like training and also inviting the expert to come in the farm and then to see they are willing to implement in the right way. And after a few years in the implementation, we can see the direct impact of this implementation. For example, for both province, we can see that the farm is clean, looks clean, and then also the chicken is healthy. And the main result, we see the increase of the production. This impact can be felt by the farmer, and then they want to inform this successful story to other farm, and then this method can be spread out in area. And other indirect impact that we obtain during the implementation, some farmer already use the antimicrobial use very low, almost 40% decrease. That's because the farm is rarely, maybe never got the infections. So the need of the antimicrobial or antibiotic is getting reduced in during the implementation. So uh, the point is that during the implementation of treatment by security, the farmer feel the benefit of in the production and also the reduction of the antimicrobial use. Maybe that's my additional comment, Joy, and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gunawan. Maybe just to check, I think there are some questions, Rodolphe, that might be from the floor that the panelists might have the chance to answer. Rodolphe, please.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for those who have started to ask questions in the chat box as well as in the Q&A section. So please try to send your questions in the Q&A section because it's easier for us to handle that. So just to come back to one of the first questions we got in the chat box earlier, it was about waste management. So actually we had the suggestions to please discuss about hazardous waste and its management. So I don't know, maybe some of the panelists have some information on how to manage waste in farms and how this is important for maybe biosecurity or protecting the environment?
Anyone from the panel members would like to address that question? I think there are also several questions that are currently actively being responded by our panelists. So anyone, Hawin or Uni, on the hazardous waste, has there been any activities on the ground on managing hazardous wastes in the farms?
Joy, I think you're being very modest here. I know you're not a panelist, but I would like to ask you briefly to outline the WASH program in relation to AMR that you helped to coordinate.
Yes, thank you, David. But yeah, okay. Just moving on that. So we are actually, if you're familiar with this is more for the human health sector, water, sanitation, and hygiene. We are doing a similar work on water, sanitation, and hygiene, but on the agriculture part. So we're calling this AgriWash Plus because we're including also biosecurity and infection prevention and control. Part of this work is on waste management. So for this one, we are working closely with the WHO, who has a very rich, long-standing experience also in managing wastes. So from the farms, how do we manage the wastes in a cost-effective manner? So I think we are also, one of the things that we are doing is creating a library of interventions, part of which is on waste management. So hopefully by next year, we will have an accessible resource where you can see all these areas, including hazardous waste management, so that it is also backed by experience in the region. Also, in the same manner, because we are collating all these experiences, I would like to also invite the other countries who have experience or some interventions that have been shown to work. Please do let us know, because in that library of interventions, we would like to also highlight the other people's work so that you can share to a broader audience the success that you have in your area. For hazardous waste management, I think, of course, the reality is the cost, and so we are looking not only on highly sophisticated waste management procedures, but also on more cost-effective manner. There are some new technologies that are available now, and we are still looking at this. And before we, of course, maybe share broadly advertise, we need to make sure that they are correct ones. So I think hopefully by sometime next year, you will be able to access these resources and have those answers as well. So I think maybe moving on, are there other questions, Rodolphe, that you would like to flag?
Yes, there was one which is really direct. So the question is, please, what are the options for poultry farmers to replace growth promoters used in many ASEAN countries? Maybe there are some specific experiences from the panelists.
Are there work?
I can take a shot at this. So especially for small farmers as well, in Vietnam, the government prohibited the use of JAGP since 2018. Therefore, officially there shouldn't be any more AGP use in livestock production. The alternative to using antibiotic can be replaced by improving good animal husbandry to begin with. For small birds, small chickens, if you start raising from a very young age, the brooding period is very important in ensuring the survival of these small birds and ensuring good husbandry throughout the production cycle. I think would help improving the health of the animal in general. And also we have been talking about improving biosecurity, to prevent infections from outside to the animals, and also using of relevant vaccine in order to protect the animals.
Thank you, Pawin. I think actively also there are several initiatives in the region that are ongoing. Some are doing alternatives to antimicrobials. There are several range of currently being evaluated at the moment. I think what would be very needed to be highlighted here is exactly as what Dr. Pawin said. Let's not use as a surrogate. These should not be surrogate to good husbandry practices. Good genetics, start with good genetics would be a starting point, and maintaining health, because we cannot really expect animals to grow at the speed that we expect to without having first, of course, good genetic sources and good conditions. So I think if there are no more questions, maybe let's just before we wrap up, I think there are still a few questions that are left unanswered, but don't worry, we will be collecting them and getting them back through email. We will refer this to our panelists. But just to take the opportunity, because I think we all hearing how the great things about biosecurity, I would also like to hear the challenges, because like just to manage our expectations. Everyone might think everything is perfect and easily done, like like easy. So I'd like to hear more about what do you think are the biggest challenges in implementing biosecurity at the farm level. So maybe Dr. Yunio, if you have any points on that.
Well, when we hear about biosecurity, people are automatically thinking about the money. Biosecurity is not simply building very fancy facility to raise animals. If it's not linked to a good husbandry practice, all will go in vain. So as Joy already mentioned, hand hygiene significantly lowered those resistant bacteria, risk of those resistant pathogen. So basic biosecurity at farm level could include washing hands before and after attending animals, changing footwear and clothes, use tools and equipment designated for the stables, then build fences to avoid contact from unhealthy animals. So key message is to be a champion farmer, to change concept of those farmers to protect their animals as well as their asset, and then share those experience to other neighbors, so they can not only make the farm clean, but also build a whole village as a safer place to raise animals.
Thank you, Uni. And maybe David, would you have anything to add to that? You think?
Sure. Yeah. No, I completely agree with the points that Uni has made, and I think this relates back to a couple of the very good questions which are appearing in the Q&A box. I mean, for example, Dr. Rodolfo Encarnacion asks, to reduce antibiotics in broiler chickens, how do you recommend they replace antibiotics for raising these birds? And there's nothing really completely magical or innovative about it, but it's the basics that come back to good animal husbandry. Having a proper all-in, all-out process where you have some space between batches of birds that you put into the same house, to thoroughly clean the house in a proper way, a dry clean and then a wet clean, and disinfect, and then let it rest. These kinds of things. But the challenge here is that it's more work. And we have seen on our discussions with some farmers in Myanmar, that they say that after so many capacity building exercises and trainings, they know now what they should do in terms of changing their footwear, washing their hands all the time, and so on. But it's difficult for them to persuade some of their farm workers to regularly adopt these habits. They're very low paid people, generally. The farm units are competing between one another to get these workers. So if one farm manager is very strict on imposing all these biosecurity measures, sometimes the workers will just leave and move to another farm where it's more slack, because the consumer may just be looking for the cheapest eggs possible. So I think the effort that we have to take, the main challenge is for us to show the farmers that actually there can be economic benefit from this. And I think the interesting numbers that Dr. Parwin presented show that there can actually be economic benefit. It may not be instantly obvious, but there is benefit. And we also have to educate the consumers that they should not accept products which are coming from dirty farms. So this is the challenge that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Just being very conscious of the time, I know there are still several questions in the chat box. We will have them collected and try to address them to the participants that ask them. I think there's a lot of question on alternatives. Maybe just as a advice, probably that let's be also cautious and skeptic, as this will start flooding the market, I guess. So not because it's something new, it's better. So I think still we need to start with the basics, as has been emphasized here. I think just to recap the discussion, biosecurity is not something new. It's not something that's necessarily expensive. It's not something that's necessarily impossible to do. I think we just need to understand from the context of the audience that we are addressing. I think very good example is providing them access to vet services, as what happened in Vietnam, providing tools and methodologies as Indonesia has done. And I think being very clear of the incentives, because economic incentives are really a good driving force to implement biosecurity, as it has been emphasized by David from Myanmar. And again, there are several angles and strategies. It is beyond just science and veterinary practice, also a lot on communication. As you can see, the community village, it takes a village to reduce antimicrobials. I think that's an example from Cambodia. And as Dr. Yuni mentioned, it all starts with starting with the very basic things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be complicated. Just we have to start somewhere. The thing is that it is not impossible, it is feasible. There are work and there are evidence that back this. So I think perhaps we will see more of this work in the region as we build the library of initiatives that has been shown to work. So I think with this, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time because we still have to give the floor to the other speakers in the conference. But definitely very, very grateful for the opportunity to hear from the work that's being done by our colleagues in the different parts of the region. So please, if you have further questions, do continue to raise them here, and we will find a venue where this could be answered, probably after the meeting. We also collated some of the FAO resources, publications, YouTube videos that are produced by FAO, and we will circulate this to the participants after the meeting. So you can see more of what we were talking about here, the work on 3-zone biosecurity, the publications that you can help your students if you're from the faculty. These are some resources from FAO that might be helpful in promoting biosecurity. With that, I think the panel members and turn over the floor to Dr. Acharya. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joy and Dr. Marder, and also for all the FAO panelists. I believe that the panel discussion was very useful for all the attendees. As many questions pending remain, and I think that don't worry, you will receive the answer from our panelists and from FAO, especially from Joy and Dr. Marder, because everything we already recorded. Please be informed that please type your question in the Q&A box, and of course our webinar will run in English. I mean, for the main platform, and we have interpretation in Thai. Please click at the world graphic and click Thai. Yes, I hope that you enjoy. For all the information that we do it for today. Yes, I think it's time that we will go to the next, because we have so many things that we would like to present, and of course we would like to celebrate together for the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. Next, may I invite Dr. Juraporn Sina, veterinary senior professional level, head of veterinary products, and AMR Containment Division of Animal Feed and Veterinary Product, Department of Livestock Development, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, a focal point of National Action Plan on AMR for the agriculture sector. Dr. Julapon received her Doctor of Veterinary Medicine from Khon Kaen University, Master of Science in Toxicology from Mahidol University, and Master of Science in Food Science, Safety and Health from Harvard University, Edinburgh, United Kingdom. Today, Dr. Julapon will share you on the topic of rest without antibiotic and farm biosecurity. Please welcome Dr. Julapon.
Good afternoon, everybody from Bangkok, Thailand. And first of all, thank you for Professor Dr. Atalia and Fava to invite me to present today during World Antimicrobial Awareness Week on, or we call WOW 2020. We Thailand also do this campaign on 16 November 2020 last week. And thank you for Professor Dr. Lungtip to become honorary translator for me today. Today, my talk is Rest Without Antibiotics, sometimes we call RWA, and farm biosecurity. So only the person who convey the information that Thai team of MR containment have done together with multi-stakeholder under our Department of Livestock Development. Before to talk on RWA and farm biosecurity, I touch a little bit on National Strategic Plan on MR of Thailand because RWA is the one project under the National Strategic Plan of Thailand. Okay, Thailand have a National Strategic Plan on MR. Uh, 2017 and 2021. This plan endorsed by the Cabinet on 17 August 2016. You can see it consists of 6 strategies. And you can see 5 key goals that we have. For the animal sector, we have a goal like 30% reduction in antimicrobial use in animal. Here is the main goal of our sector, animal sector. You can see a 6 strategy for agriculture sector. We responsibility for strategy 4, MR prevention and control and antimicrobial stewardship in agriculture and animal. We also work together with Department of Medical Science on MR surveillance system using One Health approach and the lab sector in this strategy 1. We also work with Thai FDA to do for strategy 2, regulation of antimicrobial distribution. So to achieve this goal, we need to have the activity, projects, and intervention under MR plan to establish, to achieve our goal, to reduce the use of antibiotics. Before to move to RWA project, I would like to touch on the pilot project of the prudent use of antimicrobial at farm level. Because this region 9, in the upper northern region of Thailand, Chiang Mai, initiate the project is a very important to initiate about the protein use in our department. This project, we work in pig boiler and laying eggs. We have about 30 farms to submit the document to join the project. And the aim of the project to reducing the amount of antimicrobial use at farm level and also strengthen the biosecurity system at farm level. In addition, raising awareness on MR. We success on this project a lot. For our observation, we found that some farmers can raise the animal without to use antibiotic in their farm. We so very surprised on this project as well. So RW project was occur in our department in Thailand. RWA project is a quick win project under National Strategic Plan OMR. And the first we start in fattening pig farms. Here is the aim of the project, like rational use of antibiotic. Okay, why I use the term rational use, prudent use as stewardship, please follow, because we can use antibiotic when we have 6 animals. Anyway, you have more detail and criteria to use. And we also to reduction of a problem, as we know, this problem is higher and higher, and we need to combat it. And also we need a healthy food option, like a choice for the consumer as well. The question for DLD, why we decide to do RWA project? Because of we have some farmer to walk in our office to ask for DLD to do this project. Also, we have the modern trade who would like to sell this product as well. This slide shows the working group to discuss about the criteria, the detail of the RWA project in our sector. Before this, we invited both co-producers, farmers, and modern trade sectors to give us the information to set up the requirement for the projects as well. Here is the requirement for the farmer who would like to join the project. Firstly, they could to be GAP farm, good agricultural practice. Before we started pig farm, after that, we have a layer, free range protein, and also deep litter pigs. For pig farm, the farmer need to receive beta-agonics free farm. For the slaughterhouse and the food chain, need to receive the license under the law from DLD as well. For the retailer modern trade, they need to receive DLD OK. In Thai, we call Patusat OK. And we can trace back like a testability and the volunteer of the farmer on this project need to raise without antibiotic as well. So for the very important topic is criteria for medical use in farm. Firstly, not permit to use antibiotic from born to harvest or to market. However, 6 animals have to treat and separate from RWA system in accordance with the animal welfare. Okay, when you raise the animal, it have an animal sick, you need to identify, separate them. After that, you treat them separate. And the product later on need to go to the general market, not the RWA product market, right? We still use coccidiostat and also to use like a preventive measurement like vaccination and alternative like a prebiotic, probiotic, and herb and so on. The next is a process to the for the certification. After the farmer submit, check with the document, everything is okay. We need to the audit team to inspect at farm level in every farm, and we use the provincial staff of livestock sector of DLD to audit and checklist about the criteria and requirement we have. In to follow up with, we do for recheck again with the correct example for drug residue testing in the feed, water, at farm. Also, we have a sample of meat at slaughter and also retailer. After that, when everything is all right from the audit team, check it is okay, we give them the certification and the valid for the firstly for only 1 year. And the name list published on our website. This slide show MOU on RWA project. We invite both the producer, the representative or the farmer to sign MOU together with DLD. Also the modern trade. In that day, we have the panel to discuss on how to raise animal without to use of antibiotic. We discuss and we have a success story from the farmer who would like to share. And some do more than 16 years already for the RWA. On World Antibiotics Awareness Week 2018, we have a team like livestock stakeholder handle antibiotic with care. You can see the people you familiar, Dr. Lungtip, Dr. Katinka, Dr. Acharya, that day. And that day, we have the panel to talk about how to use antibiotic like prudent use, how to do for the prescription, and also how to do for the wet drug distribution, what we do. And that day, after 6 months later, after we have the project RWA, our DG, DOD of DG, Dr. Sarvit, give the certificate for the farmer who success on RWA project after they submit the project. Okay, the next is, where is the product from the project? Okay, on 17th of May 2019, we have like a official opening ceremony of RWA products. We launch the products, like official launch in the modern trade. You can see our DG and our DDG and the products. And we also have the media, the media to announce and give them the information for the farmer who would like to join the project as well. This slide show about how many RWA farm of the pilot project of Thailand now. Totally now we have about 236 farms and composed of variety of the species like pig, chicken layer, filling protein, deep little pig, and you can see the product on the market. Also the place to sell the product. Now we have about 200 retailer shops. Sometimes they have their own shop themselves and modern trade like Top Central, Tesco, Lotus, Big C, Villa, Gourmet, and sometimes max value, you can buy the product. What a key success factor of the RWA farm? You can see the term farm biosecurity, because without the effective on biosecurity system, you cannot raising, you cannot use RWA, you cannot raise animal without to use antibiotics. It's very hard to do. And you need for the effective herd health management program and also farm management. You would like to focus on the housing design, environment, the management on feed, water, also the pest control. And very important, the attitude of the farmer, very important. They would like to change the management practice under the supervisor of veterinarian, also the animal husbandry. So veterinarian is very important in this point. In terms of farm biosecurity, we have variety of meaning. Anyway, I show just only one. I select farm biosecurity. Sometimes we can, the meaning is a set of the measure designed to protect a property. Sometimes property mean farm from the entry and spread of pest and disease. Okay, you need to protect the pathogenic microorganism to enter the farm, your farm. Focus on herd health management. You need to select healthy animal from healthy breeder. Very important. If you have the disease from the breeder, it's hard to do for RWA. You need the vaccination program and quality of feed and feed and water. Okay, to do for healthy, you need to alternative like pre and probiotic, vitamin, mineral to support the health of the animal at farm level, and you need to straight on straight management, like reduction of population density, improvement of housing condition, ability to allow to animal to express their natural behavior. Here is a very important herd health management. For RWA together with biosecurity, you need to detect any illness very early. For farmer, animal husbandry, and also veterinarian, you need to observation of abnormal clinical sign of animal. After you see the weak, the illness of the animal, you need to separate them and treat them only the sick animal and identity on the limit of the area, identify them. And you need rule out inspection cross of sick or infection problems to prepare and prevention for the next infection as well. For prevent infection, you need to have like effective pest control, manage effluent waste, and manage properly. Efficacy of disinfectants, hygiene and sanitation of the employees, also reduce contamination risk by vehicles, equipment, personnel, or visitor. Luckily, in our division, my division, give the license and registration for the product like a disinfectant, pesticide, and ectoparasiticide to use in our sector, livestock sector, under the Hazardous Substance Act of Thailand. Okay, the next many slides, I would like to show the picture, some picture to show when we visit the farm and the success farm, like I show what the picture like this. You can see the limit external contamination from the vehicle, also the equipment and person. Under COVID-19, we can check about the temperature for the visitor as well. You can see waste management in some farm. You can see lagoon. We can take care on the waste very properly in RWA farm. And you can see the buffer zone or in our system. And also you can see closed system like evaporation. We variety of the manage to cleaning, disinfection, and pest control in the housing. You can see we have variety of the category of the animal, and so the variety of racing. Here sometimes we call happy pig because in that farm, the pig can walk out with the big area freely, and this is one system we use like a natural racing of the animal. And you can see not the crowd and not the more density in the RWA project. And we have like a native frog to do like a free range animal. And you can see deep little pig, in Thai we call mulum, and very good on a healthy animal that they need to select the healthy piglet in farm as well. Okay, personal hygiene, very important. Disinfectant effective is very important as well. For Thailand, we cut off the contact time of the disinfectant about 10 minutes for disinfectant. We write it and give them the registration for the products of Thailand to use. And you can separate the equipment for sick animal and identify, okay, use antibiotic, go to the normal and general market product, not RP products local. This farm is a layer farm, layer egg. The capacity more than 500,000 layer in here. That day we visit is about, we have about 300,000 layer in. Then this farm, they not allow the people to inside to pick up the egg after the layer. Everything is a cross system, resting and egg go through without the contaminate, and we use ICT system to support the system to reduce the risk of contamination from the worker. From biosecurity of Thailand, we can say we used to evaluate on July 2018. We have the meeting named Inter-Country meeting to review implementation of National Action Plan on MR, and our racing farm biosecurity of Thailand due to evaluate. And we receive, in human, we use IPC term. In animal, we use farm biosecurity. And we have score phase 1 and 2, phase 5. The 5 is highest. And we receive in Thailand for farm biosecurity evaluate, we received the score phase 5 in 2018. So under the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, okay, we Thailand organized this year together with co-hosts, about 73 co-hosts, organized the key is of Thai FDA under Ministry of Public Health. We, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative, join together, and DoD act as the focal point to drive the project and WOW as well. RWA is we include in the books that we launch opening, grand opening launch on 16 November this year, and composed of 100 pages, and have executive summary in English 2 pages, and have I think about 5 years activity we have done under the strategic plan on Impact of Thailand. Okay, thank you so much. You can see Dr. Achariya, Dr. Somchuan, and also Dr. Thawatchai, the president of the council, and our staff. For RWA project, I would like to thank you, Dr. Suchana, Dr. Joyce, our young staff who is a focal point of this project. And other, thank you for our lab sector from NIH and my director, Dr. Rakthai Ngampak, to support us so very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Julapon. I think that for your presentation is very, very informative, especially for the race without antibiotics farm. It's something that it's something a value added for the product, and I think it's really get to the point for convincing the farmers to work and to do more high biosecurity in their farm, and also in, of course, they should have some kind of can we say something like concern about the many component of the biosecurity. And thank you very much also for a very informative and very short one, because we still have some time. I mean, for the question and answer, and also maybe we can also gathering with the question from the first session from the FAO panelists. If Dr. Gordon Sero and Dr. Mother have time, maybe we can join together for the general discussion, because everything is all about the biosecurity. Yes, I think it's time for the Q&A. I can see many questions in the box, and right now we are waiting for the question that will come through the stage. So right now, before we going to the question and answer, do you have any some things to say? For example, how popular it is for the race without antibiotic farm among the Thai farmers right now?
Thank you, Dr.
Maybe this is the
Acharya.
first one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. RWA is like we do like a choice, and have a choice for the consumer who need to buy. Anyway, when we talk with the producer, the farmers, to become RWA farm is not easy to do, and they need to prepare so many things before, especially like a farm biosecurity, and they need to like attitude and behavior of the farmer as well. Anyway, to do for RWA, uh, the farmer, uh, the farmer willing to do, because we would like livestock sector would like uh, to show for the prudent use, for the like take care of the people, and also to combat and to decrease the MR problem together with the other sector like human and to keep. So, and we know we have not the new antibiotic for our sector as well. Without the use properly, sometimes it have a problem in our sector as well. The impact so many. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think because of this, that's why we're trying to do the celebrate and also campaign for the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, because awareness is very important. We need to emphasize every year. Yeah. So we are waiting for the question. Do you have any question come up? And also, may I invite Dr. Joy and also Dr. Mother to join us for this session for general discussion. Yes, Joy, please. I think for the FAO panel discussion still have so many questions left, right? So please use the time. We have 15 minutes for the general discussion. Yes, and also Dr. Mother, please come up together with us. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Please,
Thank
Joy,
you.
do you have
Thank
any?
Dr. Acharya.
Yeah.
There are some questions, I think that's
Oh, yeah.
great.
This
So
is
that's for Dr. Poom.
Dr. Julapon. Yes. If we understand correctly, the race without antibiotic will be valid for 1 year, what do they need to do to renew for the certificate? Thank
Yes.
you for the question.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes. Yes. Because the certificate received from government sector, we can say, I'm not sure, but I review so many, only Thai government to give the certificate from the government sector. Normally you have the agency, like a private agency to give. So firstly, the project be valid for 1 year. After that, we have the renew again and again. Yeah, to make sure RWA product is RWA products, and we can stay sustainable of the certificate.
So they should have some kind of audit every year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, if we success on and this cut again, sometimes we extend for 3 years, sometimes depend on. Anyway, the first round we do for 1 year valid.
Yeah, so 1 year first. Yes, it's really like the license, the license for driving. Yeah, I see. Yeah, thank you. Yes, another question, please. So, and also for Joy, you have any question that you would like to share? If it is because we are in the atmosphere of the biosecurity, everything can come up with our general discussion. Joy, please, Dr. Godonselo.
Yes, I was asking Rodolphe to manage the questions from the chat box. We received quite a few, but if for those because of in the interest of time, we tried to answer them. I
Yeah,
think
thank you.
for me personally, there were a lot of specific question on what product is better and what is not. So I think the question here is really, it's difficult to endorse or say something outright without the evidence. So I think what we need to clarify is that, like we do it in an evidence-based manner. So I think it's difficult to say right away here, especially if we haven't really encountered some of the products being mentioned here. But for biosecurity, I think our greatest tool as veterinarians is ourselves. I think having the understanding and being continuously updated with the work at hand, what's available in the market, what are the pros and cons, I think this is our best tools will be ourselves as veterinarians. So I think maybe for some of the questions, that will be probably the all-encompassing answer. But maybe I leave to Rodolphe if there are questions in the chat box also.
Yeah, please, Dr.
Hey, Joy.
Mader, please.
Yes, thank you. So actually, we can see that the debate on the questions is a little bit expanding from simple biosecurity to actually how we can manage the issue of antimicrobial resistance and decreasing antimicrobial usage in farms. There was one question which is maybe of interest to the veterinarians who are attending this this session would be on what kinds of antibiotics food animal producers must refrain from using because it is a common antibiotic used nowadays in human medicine. So you may check the answered questions. So here, Dr. Joy and Dr. Pawin provided some answers and links to relevant documentation.
Yeah, good.
And indeed, some questions were very technical, and we would need to make some research to address them more specifically.
Yes.
But you're still free to ask more questions in the chat box if you wish to.
Yes, it is. Yes, please. We still have time for the question. Oh, yes, very long question. Human resource management is most important in order to biosecurity program still working. We are always talking about the general of biosecurity, such as cleaning, disinfection, traffic control, and etc. How if explain about human resource strategy so that biosecurity keep running? I think this one is a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe Dr. Chulapon, you have any
Okay, I
any
try.
comment? Yeah.
for biosecurity, human resource very important.
Yeah.
I think not only for farm security, I think for slaughter, for every sector along the food chain. To training, okay, the training is the strategy anyway. We need to follow after we train what the output we receive. Anyway, for our sector, we have like a supervisor, animal husbandry, also veterinarian, who focus on the health and training on the biosecurity. And I think if we have some to show them, the more you do for biosecurity, the more you receive the benefit on farm is better. I found that in some farm they have the a chain of the suit because before and shower before entry at farm. They do not use of any antibiotic at that farm, and the buffer zone for them is very important. So that means they need to train and train and train at the human resource at farm level very closely. I think this is my idea.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice that I think all the level of I mean the one who involved with the farm, they should realize in the same things. And I think right now we also have the another one that is the veterinary paraprofessional that should take in part also together with the veterinarian, especially in the farm. So in this case, they also should realize what is going on and what is the important for the biosecurity, because this one is can help for the disease free, or it can control and prevention of the disease to their farm. Yeah, thank you. Yes, so this is one of the point, the human resource. Yeah, not only the hardware the farm, everything, also the one who work in the farm. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Another question? Yes. Oh, this is the last question. How do you manage the eggs that are treated with antibiotics during the withdrawal period? Yes.
How the mandatory egg that are treated with antibiotic. When we visit farm, especially the last farm we visit, layer it has about 3,000 300,000 layer, and they said that uh, for biosecurity they have not use antibiotics anyway. I used to heard about this topic. If they have the egg under use of antibiotic, they separate and sometimes do another not for food. Mhm. And don't forget, basically, luckily of Thailand, we have a GAP farm. So many years ago, I think more than 10 years, for uh, for for example, boiler, we have 90% of the raising of the boiler in Thailand under GAP farm. And also we have a layer farm too. We have a GAP farm. So GAP farm need to follow the use of antibiotic, especially the withdrawal period time, very exactly. And don't forget we have supervisor of the veterinarian to supervise for their farm as well.
So very important for the veterinary attendants, right? For the farm. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I think maybe I'll go to Dr. Joy. Do you have any question left, or do they want, waiting for you the question from the FAO panelists? Feel free. We have time for one question. Yeah, before we stop the general discussion. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Rodolphe, do we have any more in the
You
list?
have?
Yes, some questions are actually arising. So I'm going to make a copy paste to send it.
Yeah, please. Please do that.
So there was, it's going to show up soon, I guess. It's going to be about aerial disinfection in broiler and layer birds as a biosecurity measure to lessen the use of antibiotics in preventing stress and bacterial infections in animals. So any recommendation from the panelists regarding this aerial disinfection?
Yes.
You
maybe.
talk about disinfection, disinfectant, right?
Yes, apparently diffused into
show
the
me
air.
the question, please. Show me the question, please. If you can.
Yes, I think Kevin is.
I tried to again.
Kevin is working
question.
hard for typing.
It's hard to manage.
Yeah.
Thank you a lot.
Sorry, Joy?
Yes, just read for
Yes.
Dr. Boom.
Yeah, please.
So, is it advisable to do aerial disinfection in broiler and layer birds as a biosecurity measure to lessen the use of antibiotics in preventing stress and bacterial infections in animals?
Okay, we can say disinfectant is the one we use to clean and to reduce the microorganism at farm level. And luckily in Thailand, Department of Livestock Development responsible to give the license and registration for disinfectant. Before we give them the license, we need the producer to submit the data to efficacy. We have to efficacy of the products, and the contact time we limit only 10 minutes for the disinfectant for the bacteria. And also we have a license for ectoparasiticide and pesticide. So we be sure we enhance on the product. And we found that one farm who use the efficacy of the disinfectant, they can reduce the pathogenic and microorganism in farm as well. So disinfectant is one weapon to help in terms of farm biosecurity in Thailand we use, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Any other question left? Because I think I would like to close the general discussion, and I think if something still left, we will answer you to your email that you register to our webinar. Yes, at this moment, I think I would like to close the general discussion, and I would like to thanks again for our speaker and also our moderators, for the panelists, especially firstly to Dr. Julapon Sina from the Department of Livestock Development. Thank you to Dr. Mary Joy Godoncillo from the FAO RAP, and also Dr. Rodolphe Mader. Thank you very much. Yes, so after this, we will have a short break with the presentation of our activities about AMR and AMU in Asia.
Thank you.
Please relax for a while, and then we will come back very soon. Welcome back, all attendees, and thank you very much for staying with us. As the presentation of the FAWA members countries, I think that you will enjoy and you will know and realize that FAWA is really working on straight for the MR combating. Yes, so in this regard, we have so many activities that's come up. You see already in Philippines, now in Thailand, and tomorrow. I would like to emphasize that don't forget, please join us for the Veterinary Medical Association of Malaysia and FAWA and FAO will host the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. So tomorrow you will see by Zoom meeting. So we're looking forward to welcome you in Malaysia tomorrow. Yes, next session, I think we are really working so hard for something that I think that is the heart of the webinar today. We are going to talk with you about the regional campaign on the enhancing of the farm biosecurity. Let me start with you. Yes, I, Acharya Sailasud, on behalf of the organizing committee of this working group of the collaborative work, I would like to start with the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, 18 to 24 November 2020. Of course, we know already that we are working for the awareness of the global antimicrobial resistance and encourage the best practice among the general public, health workers, and policymakers to avoid the further emergence and spread of drug-resistant infection. I would like to give you a little bit to go back in the history that what is going on and what is the start of the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. It's starting in 2015 by the tripartite FAO, OIE, and WHO working together. And they really want to keep on working for the awareness to all the stakeholders. Especially in the beginning, the World Health Organization consider for the antibiotic resistance as a high priority. But to tackle it, they endorsed the Global Action Plan on the antimicrobial resistance, which also inspired for World Antibiotic Awareness Week. I think this is very important. Yes, we are working together, FAWA and FAO RAP, working collaboratively celebrate the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020 in the Asia Pacific that you are with us now. Let me introduce you a little bit for the FAWA. The Federation of the Asian Veterinary Association is starting in 1978 in Philippines. We have the vision that it's very strong for the public and professional association in the region. And of course, the mission is very important and clearly agree with the AMR policy, especially for the veterinarian as going together with all the stakeholders to enhance the quality of life of the people in the region through the responsibilities, animal care, and welfare by unified professional association. Further information kindly see from our website. We have a meeting for our council meeting. I would like to show you in the 2016 in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City. We starting the strategy that we are still keep on doing now until this year. Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19, we can't do so much for the activity that we cannot travel around. But anyway, it's a great opportunity that we can do by online, by webinar. This is the great things that we can do for advocacy of the opportunity for the One Health strategy of FAWA. Yes, we have also the meeting. I would like to acknowledge that this year, Dr. Kwasa has already been our president. We are very proud and we are really appreciate his he devote and contribute to Fava for many things and also many encouragement for us. And we have this photo is from our Fava Council meeting last month in October. It was very fruitful, and we also talking about the activity today. That is something very impressive one. Yes, we have a lot of things that we have done together. And of course, we are going to talk about the FAO, Fava Regional Campaign. It's composed with two components. The first one is the regional campaign to enhance farm biosecurity for the poultry farm. And the second one that is very, very exciting and very active because we have the Wild 2020 satellite webinar in around Asia. That's so nice and very, very, I think this is the highlight also of our campaign. And of course, this is also the highlight that you are going to know very soon from this session, the regional campaign to enhance farm biosecurity for poultry farm. This is the project that Fava run for the promote the biosecurity and management for the good animal husbandry practice. So you will know today who is the winner. Please stay for a while. You will know very soon. Yes. And then after that, we have a timeline. We work together with many our stakeholders. We launched at the 8th October this year, and the first deadline on 13 November, and we extend to call on more application until 18 November. And today you will know the winner already. Yes. Yes, this is our satellite webinar. You will see it's very productivity and very exciting, isn't it? You will see that we have many activities in Philippines on the 11th of November. We have the activity in Indonesia on the 19th, and we have the activity in Myanmar on the 21st, last Saturday, and today in Bangkok, in Thailand on 23rd. And tomorrow, we are really welcome you to Malaysia on 24th November. So I would like to thanks to all the president of the association, the Philippine Veterinary Medical Association, Indonesian Veterinary Medical Association, Myanmar Veterinary Association, the Thai Veterinary Medical Association, and Veterinary Medical Association of Malaysia. Thank you very much indeed from Fava. Yes, this is the banner. So after this, you will enjoy many photos and very active. So you will feel like you campaign and celebrate with Fava together at this moment. Yes, it's the banner from all the countries that we are doing now. This is for tomorrow, and this is today. Thank you for joining us. Yes, this one from PVMA. Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Dr. Corazon, the president of PVMA. Yes, thank you, Dr. Munawaro, the president of IVMA. Yeah, very nice. This one webinar. Yeah. Yes, it's the Zoom meeting, and thank you very much to MVMA, MVA, Myanmar Veterinary Association, Dr. Tin Wei. Yes, they are really very high effort for working with us. Thank you. Yes, and for today, I really thankful to TVMA. Yes, please enjoy our activity. Thank you for the president. Thank you for the representative from FAO. Yes, and also from CUV. Thank you for Professor Lung Thip. She is also one of the key person who working with us. Thank you for the Department of Livestock Development for our also joy in the Thailand World Antimicrobial Awareness Week with Dr. Chulapon. Yes, last week, and also we have radio program with Dr. Lung Thip. We have the exhibition, and we have the competition. of uh, the student, they painting. What about the antibiotic that they use in their animal? It's so nice. Very good. Yeah. Thank you for joining us and for taking a part in the WOW 2020, our journey together to fight with AMR. Thank you. Yes, further information, please find in our website, favamember.org. Yes, and all the regards from the Fava members and also our Fava officer. Thank you. Yes, I think right now you know already what we are doing now. Maybe I think that you would like to take part. Of course, you can do it. We will try to do it continuously, and it will be the permanent advocacy from our region. Yes, thank you. Yes, I think next is also very important one. The next is something about that we are going to talk about the competition. Yes, I would like to invite my colleagues. It's the highlight program. I would like to invite Dr. Chudhama Chatuchai, the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week Design Challenge 2020 Project Coordinator Fava Office Bangkok, on the competition of the housing design for small-scale poultry farming in Asia in the theme of biosecurity towards infection, prevention, and improved livelihoods campaign on the WOW 2020. Please welcome Dr. Chuthamat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Acharya, for your kind introduction. And good afternoon from Thailand to everyone. Again, I'm Chuthamat, or you may call me May. I'm a project coordinator for this competition. And it's my honor for being a part in this campaign, and it's with my excitement as well for being in this session, because today we will be able to listen to all the highlights from the presenter of the design. But however, before we proceeding to the presentation from the contester, the finalist contester, kindly let me quickly walk you through the journey of the competition first. Yes, this competition is called a housing design competition for small-scale poultry farming in Asia. And in connection with World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020, we also call it as our WOW Design Challenge 2020. This competition is conducted under the theme of the biosecurity towards infection prevention and improved livelihood. The aim of the competition is to particularly promote the biosecurity management and good animal husbandry practices for the mitigation of AMR spread and its risks. So the entries that submit to the competition must highlight designs reinforcing the implementation of the biosecurity measures for small-scale producers, farmers, but are also cost efficient, compatible with local conditions and settings, and socio-culturally acceptable overall. Basically, the design need to align with the 6 following criteria. First, compliance to basic biosecurity management manual and good animal husbandry practices for poultry, counted for 40% for the scoring. Second, technical quality and clarity of specifications of the schematic design, 15% for scoring. Third, the ease of adaptation of the design under local settings Asia, counted for 15%. 4, cost efficiency of the design, counted for 15%. 5th, originality, uniqueness of or innovativeness of the design, counted for 10%. 6, Collaborative nature of the design development process accounted for 5%. So from the beginning of the opening for the submission until the extended deadline on 18 November, we received altogether 37 entries. Those are from submitted as groups, which are 24 groups, and submitted as individuals for 13 individuals from 8 countries in Asia and the Pacific, which include 1 from Australia, 10 from Bangladesh, 5 from India, 4 from Indonesia, 6 from Malaysia, 3 from Nepal, 6 from Philippines, and 2 from Thailand. So from the submission are from various professions and also from different walks of life in mixed collaborative groups. But the majority of the submission are from the veterinary and animal science, more than 25 of them, and also have the background from architect and graphic design, engineering, farming, and business. So we would like to thank you very much for all the submission, and thank you very much for your enthusiasm in spreading the word for the competition and actively participate in this contest by yourself. It has been very challenging for us getting through all these entries with these creative, innovative ideas, and also like the biosecurity measurements applying to the design, which has pro and cons at the same time. So it's very difficult to give the score and conclude the list. However, we do have the tremendous support from our honorable judges and also the experts from FAO and Fava to conclude the final list to present today. Yes, I think it's the time for calling out for the finalists to present on the design. Each finalist will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves, pitch for the highlights of the design, and also conclude the key message for the design. I hope everyone is ready for the presentation or for this. So may I please call for the finalist from the Philippines. This one is, may I please invite Dr. Erwin Joseph S. Cruz to present on the design.
Thank you very much, May, Dr. May. Can everybody hear me? First of all, it's an honor and pleasure to be here and to be invited. I'm humbled and honored by the prime movers of the Fava, FAO, RAP, and all the veterinary associations. Thank you very much. A warm welcome for everyone to see the program that I've been doing for the past 23 years in the Philippines. I'm Dr. Erwin Joseph Cruz, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, graduated from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, 1991. Commercial poultry breeder manager from 1992 to 1994, handling numerous breeds and strains of broiler type breeders. Also colored chickens, which really encouraged me to go into the program of free-range chicken production in the Philippines. And now performing programs here in the Philippines with dominant ZZ colored chicken programs. I'm a technical consultant for free-range poultry farming for the tropics in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Guam, USA. A lecturer and proponent of free-range chicken production in the Philippines. Some people call me as the pioneer because I started with a program based on science in 2007 up to the present. A collared chicken breeder farmer dedicated to assist small to medium scale collared chicken farming in the provinces of the Philippines. I am an actual breeder farmer and a free-range farmer myself. First-hand experiences in assisting smallholder farmers nationwide by putting science in guiding traditional free-range poultry farming towards progress and sustainability. It is very difficult to insert science with tradition, especially here in Asia. People are more focused on the traditional things, but we need to show that there's a better way of doing things with poultry farming by placing science ahead to make it sustainable and to create a progressive program. I was an awardee in 2016 as the most outstanding veterinarian in agribusiness by the Philippine Veterinary Medical Association. At the same year, I also garnered as the outstanding veterinarian in poultry practice by the Veterinary Practitioners of the Philippines in 2016. Chairman of the Philippine National Standards of the Department of Agriculture for free-range chicken production. A pioneer specialist in free-range chicken and duck production, and a fellow of the Philippine College of Poultry Practitioners, our collegial body that I am proud to be a member of in the Philippines, focusing on poultry practice and progress in the Philippines. Founding president of the Philippine Smallholder Poultry Farmers Association, a stakeholder and an actual practicing smallholder breeder farmer, supplying farmers in the Philippines. Basically, I understand, I feel, and I experience the plight of a smallholder farmer from starting as a small farm and how to develop it based on the uh, theories and practices as well as the practicalities of being in Asia, especially in a tropical country. Advocator and proponent of the saying, an educated farmer is a successful farmer. I have taught hundreds of farmers, and they said that this is quite effective to show that there is really a program, irregardless whether there's an outside support or not, that once you are properly educated, the success will be there by being critical thinkers as free-range poultry farmers.
Uh, Hello, Dr. Joseph. Dr.
Yes,
Erwin, could you
yes.
please share the screen with us, the presentation?
Biosecurity, one of the main pillars towards an AMR-free poultry produce from smallholder farmers. Biosecurity is about planning, proper education, internalizing the values, and practicing the program not just in a single farm, but all throughout the production chain. Strengthening the weak points or weak chains in the productions through knowledge. Right farm layout and pre-positioning is very important to reduce contamination. It's a one-way in-out process. Inputs are delivered at the back with strict adherence to disinfection, reduce medication cost in the long run. Never overstock the farm. Sometimes greed and over-commercialism takes over the farmer, and this can greatly trigger the animal behavior that can trigger stress. Strict adherence to no visitor policy in the farming site, proper health program, vaccination, and proper storage. One common mistake that I see with the farmers is they don't know how to take care of their vaccines and how to apply them. Utilization of natural and man-made barriers, using gravel pathways to dry out microorganisms, effective herbal plants, bamboos, and fences, and placing proper signages. Use of tire bats, vehicle disinfecting machines, changing to clean farm attires provided by the farm, rubber boots, boot, foot bats at multiple stages, hand washing, cleaning, and disinfecting farm tools are essentials. Never allow feed trucks to get inside the critical areas of the farm. More than 50% of the incidences are coming from the mobile feed trucks that transfer feeds from their other farms going to the main farm itself. Feeds must be transported manually from the truck to the feed storage area. Always make due diligence of the genetic source and feed source. Make sure they practice good biosecurity too. Educate personnel and farm hands on the importance of biosecurity. Always seek professional veterinary advice. Conclusion. Important to note the pillars good genetics, good quality feeds, biosecurity, good housing program, science-based education in management. All of these pillars must go hand in hand like cogs in a wheel. We need to create critical thinkers from our farmers through science-based education programs for smallholder farmers like what we are doing now. Education is our big ally in helping the smallholder poultry farmers towards progress. We make the right choice in our source of genetics. Genetics is the initial key choice if we want to be successful in the program. We need to advocate good quality feeds, not just the least cost feeds. Low quality feeds can trigger immune suppression and a source of infection. We need to create closed herd breeding programs through strict and biosecured breeding stations based on good genetics are very important that we are adapted for the tropical climate, disease-free, robust, and productive. A disease-free breeder farm is critical towards success. We need the cooperation of the agricultural department of the governments to provide logistical assistance in pushing this campaign by citing awareness and true value of a smallholder poultry farming in the villages or kampung, especially in food security in the provinces. Consumer awareness will play a key role in the sustainable demand for the produce. Everybody needs to pitch in as stakeholders, from genetic supplier, breeder farmers, educators, meat and egg farmers, distributors, consumers, and the government. Education, care for the environment, empathy, and communityship must rise above and beyond the lack of education, over commercialism, and personal interest. These are our produce from the farm. Thank you very much, and God bless to all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Irvin, for your informative presentation. So may I please proceed for the next panelist to present. So may I please invite the collaborative team from Indonesia to present for the next panelist. Please, Miss Jasmine Dian Saya and Miss Yavini Dikia Kamal, please get onto the virtual stage to present. Thank you. Please be reminded that you have 3 minutes and be quick. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. We are very honored to be here today. Now I would like to share my screen to show our presentation of the design. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Jasmine Deansha. My partner Avini Rizkia Kamal and I would like to present our design project for a small-scale poultry farmhouse. Our design is called Ruyam. This farm is envisioned to be located in Lewiliang, a district in West Java, Indonesia. The farm stretches for 1,900 square meters in area and houses 4,000 broiler chickens. This farm consists of a 2-story shed, a Danish entry, a storing area, an isolation chamber for the sick chicken, a personal quarter, a parking, plumbing, and burial area. We use the above ground burial method using rice straw and covered with excavated soil and a plant cover on top. The perimeter of the farm is surrounded by a bamboo fence to prevent unnecessary entry of vehicle, people, and other animals. The shed is positioned along the east-west axis, suited for tropical buildings which avoid extreme sun exposure. This farm also uses local materials that are often used in similar sheds. The design of the sheds form is adapted from Sundanese traditional houses with raised floors that are also useful for preventing pest intrusion. Okay, so entering the shed, the personals have to go through the Danish entry, which has 3 zones: the dirty, shower, and clean zone. Each are used for the following order. First, putting away stuff and taking off clothes, and then showering, and then lastly, putting on a sterile suit and footwear.
Inside the shed, there are 4 layers of access priorities. The white zone is a raised floor for personals to do a quick check without having physical contact with the stock. For daily feeding, the personals can do it on the white and yellow zone with a PVC pipe to prevent excessive physical contact with the stock. The orange zone is for low concern checks, such as checking the water valve or the heater, and then the red zones are for high concern checks, which would not be used regularly. And then for ventilation, the shed has zeolite exhaust fans, which in this image is marked with red dots along the walls that absorb ammonia from the air, preventing respiratory disease from happening to the chickens. For cleaning chicken litter, the first floor of the shed has a disposal gap that would be covered under a tarp. When cleaning, lift the tarp and dispose the litter into the gap. Then the litter can be collected from the ground floor to be made into Bekasi fertilizer. This farm also accommodates rainwater harvesting for the shed, where the rainwater is collected by the pipe along the slanted roof, then into a water tank through a filter. Then the water is distributed to each individual valve using gravity. To conclude, the core concept of this farm is spatial segmentation. From the raised shed creates a physical barrier to prevent pest intrusion. The access layers inside the shed reduce physical contact between the personals and the stock. And lastly, the Danish entry extends the entrance, creating a sequence in which the sanitation process takes place. Now, this special segmentation creates physical barriers to help achieve biosecurity. The physical barriers must also consider climate, local culture, and cost efficiency factors, which this design has considered to make the adjustment easily adaptable. With biosecurity and adaptability, this farm aims to result in decreasing the possibility of disease transmission. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your speedy presentation and very wrap up everything for us. Yes, and now we are proceeding for the next and the final finalist for today to present. May I please invite the finalists from Philippines to present. This is the collaborative team for Dr. Gerard Ernesto Lianes Jr. and Mr. Albert Day and Mr. Joseph Abelardo. Please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. First and foremost, we would like to thank the organizers for really inviting us and for us being able to present our design for this contest. So to start, so our project is named the Bayanihan Layer House. So we are Team Bayanihan. Joseph Abelardo here is an architect, and Mr. Albert Te is a basically a small layer farmer and also a trader. I'm Gerard. I'm also working for a pig genetics company. Actually, the three of us came from the porcine industry. So we've been colleagues since 2010 for about a number of years, and then we parted ways and then came back together again. So our project is basically a Bayanihan layer house concept. Bayanihan is a Filipino word which literally means a community helping through community spirit and cooperation. So this concept is basically a system wherein we can be implemented in any country here in Asia. So it talks of total community farming, wherein the different aspects of poultry farming is done by different members of the local community. So it improves the income of the total community. So plan to be a community-based micro-integrated setup, which is similar to the operation of big poultry integrators here in Asia. 1 or 2 farming families can basically handle any aspect of the layer production operation, maybe the rearing operation, layer operation, or the table egg sales themselves. For this project, we focused on the layer production aspect of the business. So the biosecurity measures that we put into place is basically encompasses back to basics. So starting with correct facility layout and design. So clear demarcations between dirty, transition, or gray areas into clean areas. Clear signages placed in strategic locations stating access limitations for staff or visitors. People moving from dirty to clean area and vice versa. So proper decontamination is practiced going through a disinfection tent. So basic hand washing, foot dips, and full body misting is done with simple tools. Should not be very expensive tools. Should be practical and applicable to all small farmers all around Asia. A shower room also can be put into place, and the farmer can change it to clean farm work clothes that are properly disinfected or rested in the clean area. So workflow follow should be from clean to dirty area and not from dirty to clean. Again, for materials and equipment that will be introduced into the farm, there should be proper disinfection and cleaning. So thorough disinfection using a broad spectrum disinfectant, which is, I guess, widely available now in Asia through a fumigation room or a spray cabinet. Also, basic, keep disease vector out with physical barriers, rat baiting, and also a gravel road that would limit the entry of vectors. And also proper, back to basics, practicing proper housekeeping within the farm and outside the farm. For outside vehicles, practice thorough wash down and disinfection of vehicles before the entry into the dirty area to ensure no contact also between the delivery staff and the farm staff. With regards to mortality and manure management, again, follow the basic rules of good housekeeping and sanitation. So collection of mortality and manure should be done at the end of the day so that we prevent cross-infection. And again, with regards to the total sustainability of the project, we advocate the use of local construction materials such as bamboo and cocoa lumber so that the project is really community-based. So basically that's it. Thank you very much. Simple ideas that will be easily put into practice into local conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and also thank you for the three finalists and also for the other entries. I will giving back the session to Professor Acharya at the moment, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chutama Chatuchai, our project coordinator of the contest. It's very, very interesting and very creativity, right? Isn't it? I think everyone will very exciting who will be the winners. Now, I think we have to go to the most important and the highlight of this webinar. So for the housing design scale, small scale poultry farming in Asia 2020, it is our great honor to invite Dr. Kwasa Nisam Matin bin Hassan Nisam, the president of Fava, the chairman of the competition committee, to share the session for announcing the winners of the contest. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Kwasa, please.
Thank you, but the video is not on. Thank you, Dr. Acharya. The host does not open the video.
The host?
Yeah.
You mean the chair?
Okay, now, yeah.
Yeah, is this okay?
All right.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Acharya. Greetings to FAO officers, Fava Executive Committee, all professionals in the veterinary fraternity, as well as farmers and industry players in the livestock sector. I'm sorry there was a technical glitch earlier in the recorded speech. Just to reiterate, I think Dr. Acharya has mentioned Fava as the Federation of Asian Veterinary Association. It's a 25-member association comprising of 21 member countries in Asia, Oceania region, with 3 associate and 1 affiliate member. The outreach is more than 100,000 veterinarians, and Fava plays an important role in working with national veterinary associations to carry out programs, projects, and activities to benefit member countries or member associations. This one such a project where we at Fava are collaborating with FAO to carry out 2 activities in conjunction with the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020. One, as we all just saw, is on the poultry housing design campaign for small-scale poultry farm, and the other was to conduct webinars in 5 member countries in their local languages. Fava would like to thank FAO for supporting with the necessary funds to undertake these activities, and I also congratulate Fava and the presidents of the Thailand Veterinary Medical Association, president of the Indonesian Veterinary Medical Association, president of the Veterinary Association Malaysia, president of the Myanmar Veterinary Association, and the president of the Philippine Veterinary Medical Association, who have collaborated with FAO Fava to conduct the webinars. And as mentioned, the last webinar will be held tomorrow in Malaysia. I'm sure all these activities will create an impact to all stakeholders in reducing AMR issues in the Asia-Oceania region. So moving on to the poultry design competition, FAO would like to thank all the 37 entries which have been submitted for the FAO Fava Poultry House design competition. This is indeed an achievement, and I thank each one of you who have participated for this competition. Thank you very much to the judging committee, namely Professor Takehara from the Japanese Veterinary Medical Association, Dr. Katinka from FAO, Dr. Kachan from FAO, Dr. Kachapon from Thailand Veterinary Medical Association, and me as the chairman for the judging committee. The five of us who have looked at all these 37 entries, and in a very short period of time, we had to decide how to judge the winners. And thank you very much for all the efforts from the judges. The prize money for this competition, as probably has been advertised, is first prize is 3,000 US dollar, and second prize is 2,000 US dollar, and the third prize is US dollars 1,000. All entries had different interesting approaches. Some were conceptual, some were functional farms which already existed, and some were quite commercial. So it was really a difficult task to try and bring them to the same sort of level platform to decide the winners. So I think nobody is wrong, but we had to pick winners. So biosecurity measures were emphasized, and most entries had shown the importance and shown it in the layouts. And for information, all entries will be compiled for future references and as models for FAO's use. Well done to everyone who have participated, not only in the competition as well as in the webinar. I congratulate each and every one. So it's my pleasure, without further ado, I would like to announce the third place winner, which has been decided. It goes to entry number 7 from Indonesia, Afini Rizkia Kamal and Jasmine Din Shah. And for the first place, the first place in the competition goes to entries the judges decided that the first and second position rank will be shared together between entry number 6 from Dr. Irwin Joseph Philippines and entry number 13 from Joseph Albert and Gerard, who will share the prize money for the first and second, which will be combined and divided between both the winners. So both of them share the first and second place. Congratulations to all winners. Before I pass the session, once again, as the president of Fava, I thank all participants of the webinar in 5 countries and those who participated in the poultry house design. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Acharya.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwasa. I think right now we shall we have a group photo for the winners?
Yes.
Yeah.
Able to start video.
Yeah. Please turn on your camera. The winners, please. together with the President, Dr. Kwaza.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwaza. Thank you very much for all organizers. Thank you very much, Kun Acharya.
Yes, thank you very much for a very nice and your effort, your very nice. Thank you. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our president, Dr. Kwasa, our Fava president, and our honorable guests. And of course, very important for the winners. Congratulations. Yes, the final Fava office will contact you for the award delivery after this. At last but not least, may I invite Dr. Bang Poncho Prio Soyanto, the Fava Secretary General, to deliver the closing remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Acharya. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, all speakers, and also all attendees of this webinar. First of all, on behalf of Federation of Asian Veterinary Association, FAVA, we are very happy that a FAVA webinar series on the celebration of World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, while 2020 this year, which was fully supported by FAO Regional Office for Asia and Pacific, FAO REP, were held in 5 FAVA member countries: Philippines, Indonesia, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Thailand, were very successful, held under the regional campaign to enhance farm biosecurity for small to medium scale poultry farms. In this opportunity, FAVA would like to thanks to first FAO Regional Office for Asia and Pacific, who fully supported this series of webinars, as well as the housing design competition for small-scale poultry farms, without which these activities will not be possible. And I would like to congratulate to the winners that already announced before. Second, the judging committee from both FAO and FAVA, which are Dr. Katinka de Belov, Senior Animal Health and Production Officer, FAO REP, and Dr. Kachen Wongsapornchai, Emergency Center for Transboundary Animal Disease, FAO REP, representative from Japan Veterinary Medical Association, Professor Dr. Kazuaki Takehara from Tokyo Agricultural University, Japan, and also from Thai Veterinary Medical Association under royal patronage, Dr. Kachapon Tamyot, Secretary General of TVMA, and importantly, the chair of the committee, Dr. Kwaza Nizamuddin bin Hassan Nizam, the president of FAVA, for their generous contribution to the competition. Third, 5 FAVA member countries, represented by Dr. Corazon Occidental, president of the Philippine Veterinary Medical Association, Dr. Muhammad Munawaro, president of Indonesian Veterinary Medical Association, Professor Tin Ngwe, president of Myanmar Veterinary Association, Dr. Nurlisan Muhammad Noor, president of Veterinary Association Malaysia, and Dr. Somchuan Ratana Mungklaunon, president of Thai Veterinary Medical Association, and their committees who worked very hard to prepare and hold the successful webinar on WAV 2020. Fourth, all speakers in every webinar who shared their valuable information and experience in their expertise on AMR in order to reduce the AMR in Asian countries. Fifth, VNU Exhibition Asia Pacific, the FAFA affiliate members, for facilitating and coordinating today's webinars. And six, all FAFA partners who cannot be listed one by one, who were helping and participating in this series of webinars. Finally, by the end of today's webinar, I would like to officially close our FAFA webinar series on the participation of the celebration of World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2020 with a note that one webinar coordinated by Veterinary Association Malaysia will be held tomorrow in Malaysia on 24th of November. In this very hard time due to COVID-19 pandemic, we hope that all of you will be safe and in good condition on health. Stay healthy. Thank you very much for your kind participation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Bambang Ponjo Piorosianto, the Secretary General of FAWA. Before we end of this session, allow me to announce for the next activities. Of course, tomorrow we have a very important two events. The first one is the WOW 2020 webinar in Malaysia, hosted by the Veterinary Association of Malaysia. And also we have the tripartite Unite to Preserve Antimicrobial during tomorrow at 2. So on 24th of November at 2 p.m. Please join. And then after that, we have also the other activities, iMatch pitching, the ultimate virtual product pitching. That is the new for the new activities. And this one making a platform for animal protein production business in ASEAN, November 25th to November 26th this year. Yes. And then after that, we will have the Fava VNU webinar for the topic of insect for animal safely feeding their health. This is very interesting because this is something still question. Is this okay for using in the feed? This is something that we are talking right now for the animal feed fields. Yes, so please join us on the 18th December 2020 at 2 p.m. Yes. And then after that, the most important, this is the activity of FAWA. We will have the 21st FAWA Congress in 2021 in Malaysia, Kuching, Malaysia, during 14 to 16 October. And this meeting will take place in the theme of Asia United for Animal Health and Welfare. This is very interesting activity that because of COVID-19 we postponed to next year. So please join us. They have so many promotion program for you all. And please visit the website worldwideweb2020.com. Yes, I think right now you go through all the activity that FAWA we have it consequently. Yes, final. Thank you very much for your attention. Please complete our survey via the QR code below to share your comment. Your comment is very important and valuable for us for the improvement for the next activity. And thank you very much for your kind participate the activity until the end. Thank you. See you again in the next activity for tomorrow and after that, as I already mentioned it. Thank you from Fava Office, Bangkok.